it's extremely important for me to lead the men and women that will be leading men and women. That's such an honor to even be able to think in that way.
Welcome back to the Reborn podcast. I'm Tony Boutros. Today I had the honor of sitting down with Max Moore, who's a faith-driven leader here in Indianapolis, co-founder of Roots Realty, owner of Plainfield GNC. In this episode, we discussed switching from obsessing about cash flow to focusing on helping A players grow, lead from overflow, and maintain emotional margin. Welcome to the show, Max.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I'm excited. I previously obviously interviewed your co-founder, Tyler Lingle. I'm excited to hear about what Roots has first been rooted in, but also how you've developed the business over time in a redemptive manner, glorifying the Lord through what you're building, and especially doing so publicly with the events that you guys host, a podcast, etc., and what it looks like today versus, when you first started. I've heard Tyler's side of things. I'd love to hear your side of what Roots looks like today and how it's developed over time.
Yeah. Roots has changed quite a bit. We started in 2023, and I would say the first rendition was about how much accomplishment there can be leading into a cash flow metric. So how much money can we earn? More exploitive than redemptive. I don't think that was anything with malintent that we were going out. We're like, it's just the industry, right? It's real estate. And I love that you're asking about the transformation because there has been a pretty profound transformation led through our own spiritual journeys independently between Tyler and I, as well as everybody in our room. Where it became super clear for me was we had an agent, and I'll speak on his behalf because I know that he'll be okay with it. Trent Keister jumped on in like early 2024. He was a client of Tyler's, and me and him like met after they closed on the house. He invited Tyler to Back Nine to meet his real estate mentors just to network. Tyler's like, hey, I'm going to meet up with these guys. You should come hang out. So I meet Trent. This is in September of 23. And he just bought a house. He's excited. We're talking about real estate. He calls me at some point in the next couple of months, and he's like, I found this house. I want to wholesale it. And was like so gun-ho and excited. And I think my response back to him was, don't mess around with that. You're going to get burnt. Like, you're just going to get hurt. You should enroll and get your real estate license, because he was speaking so confidently on the phone. Like, you can sell. If you can sell, like, stop being a bar back, like, come join. So he jumps on the team. Fast forward. And then early this year, he gets baptized and is completely walking with the Lord in his life, or maybe late last year, at some point in the last few months, he got baptized and has completely changed the script and how he communicates. And seeing that, I'm like, oh, wow, we can depopulate hell simply by having agents in our room. So then where else can we do that? Yeah. Like, what happens if we prayed at our events? Like, people are invited in to talk about cash flow and flipping properties, right? Yeah. But what if we prayed? And maybe that's one time a year that somebody's prayed for or prayed with. And that can become a sanctuary that doesn't have to be this like, oh, you have to be a Christian to be in this room. No, I mean, we want everybody in the room, right? We just want God to be present when we are all networking and connecting, because at the end of the day, that's why we're able to even connect to begin with. Yeah. So I've just been like on the swing up with that journey of redemption in my own spiritual walk. Like, getting my license, I was a Christian and wanted to actually be a pastor, but I was still in this infant stage. I just didn't know it at that time, right? I was like doing the habits and doing the things, but I was still infantile in my faith. Yeah.
What does faith-driven leadership look like to you, and how does that manifest itself within your personal life, but also with your team, with your events, with your partners, your vendors, such as Reborn Homes?
Yeah.
What's your perspective on what should faith-driven leadership look like?
Yeah. My goal is to help A players, people who are extremely hungry, scale their lives and business sustainably. So I don't want to see anybody take like an exponential leap from zero to hero. I want people to transform over time. And as a leader that is faith driven, I feel called to speak to the Lord and pray on my people and ask him, hey, what's the timing that they need to like hear this? Or
Yeah.
how can I be, or how should I be mentoring? And there's a lot of thoughtful communication around that. And then it's making like bold, out of this world statements.
Mm.
Like AJ, we're in the same studio that we record our podcast. I have said things to AJ that I'm like, I think you could scale this business to do this or this or this. And like, that's not brought from Max, right? That's like some sort of moment, being like, I'm more of a pioneer in the way that I operate. So I'm thinking 7 steps ahead about
Mm.
everybody's business and where they can go and
Mm.
what land they can find to scale. And that's what I've been blessed with, is to be able to like see where things are not as efficient, find the place that we can get to fill the efficiencies to get better.
Mm. What do you believe qualifies you or anybody as a leader, especially at such a young age, leading a team of? I think some of your team is older than you as well.
Yeah, I would say our average age, if we put everybody into a calculator, be somewhere around the like 29ish,
Mm.
maybe 30. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I love leading people that are older than me more than people that are younger than me. I found. I actually hate. I'm sorry to everybody who's younger than me on my team. It's not as. It's harder. It's more of a challenge because I've made the stupid mistakes that they're about to make, like just made them, right? As
Mm.
where the people, if we're going just based on age or stage of life, I like to talk about stage of life more.
Mm.
If somebody's in like 5 stages of life ahead of me, well, they've already been through all the crap that I haven't even like thought that I'm going to go through yet.
Mm.
So when I'm giving them advice, it's like a youthfulness, right? Like,
Mm.
oh yeah, I remember whenever I was in that stage of life, and like I love the optimism that he has, and
Yeah.
they can be impacted greater than that. As we're somebody who like uh internally is in their early 20s, like starting out in real estate, it's like they're partying on the weekends and doing the different things. I've been there. I've done
Yeah.
that. And like I just want to tell them it's a waste of time and
Mm.
stop. Like, but it's harder to do that. It's harder to be that. Like, no, don't do that. Don't go out and have fun. Like, I think everybody should have fun.
Yeah.
Just for me, it was a waste of time when I
Yeah.
reflect. Yeah.
Mm. And your team is how big right now?
We have my team for real estate is a total of 12 strong.
Mm.
I guess technically 14. As of last week, we signed a JV for a property management company. So we assume 2 more people
Mm.
in. My organization as a whole is around the 20 mark. So just through all the different businesses.
Mm. Mm. Where do you get your wisdom, your energy, your power, the love? It takes a lot of love to serve 20 people on your teams.
Yeah.
Where does that all come from?
I keep a pretty tight knit board of advisors that
Mm.
changes over time. I try to be somewhere in like the 5 to 7 people range. Like
Mm.
if I'm less than 5 mentors, I need to go network
Mm.
more, and those change over time. You don't keep the same board of advisors all the way through, except for mom and dad, or at least God willing,
Yeah.
keep keep mom and dad. And I kind of lump them together. It's like half they sit in the same chair together, and then I've got a mentor that a couple in real estate that are leading teams bigger than mine, older than mine, and made the mistakes that I'm going to make
Yeah.
already so that I can cut some years off of growth. And then some pretty deep spiritual mentors that have just recently started in my life. Like that wasn't on my board of advisors, a direct spiritual mentor.
Mm.
Everybody is faith based
Yeah.
that I go to for advice. But I did not have like a direct spiritual mentor.
Mhm.
And then the last is wisdom wise, besides scripture and just thoughtful prayer and reading books,
Mm.
is having a coach. I don't care what that guy charges me. I hope that this gets posted and he watches it. Shout out Josh. I would pay him whatever
Right
he
here.
could. He could charge me way more money than he does,
Mm.
because he's been everything transformational in just having a dedicated 2 hour block to just talk through what are the problems happening in your businesses right now, right? Because there's more than just Roots Realty Co. There's different franchises and stuff like um, to just have a thought partner that Josh gets a lot of his wisdom also from coaching other business leaders, right? Um, and he can bring in, he's quick witted to bring these different models in that help my brain. Like, oh, yeah, I'm an idiot for even not thinking like this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the number one framework you've learned from your coach?
Yeah.
That
There's this worksheet. It's called the Scaling Up Worksheet. It's a Jim Collins
mm,
resource. And essentially, what it has is a BHAG in the middle. You write out your core values, your mission, and your brand promises. And then right under it, it's got a quarter, 1 to 2 year, 2 to 3, or 3 to 5 year progression
mm,
of like your rocks that you're going to be moving. So, like in this next quarter, I have to do X so that in a year we can get to Y,
mm,
so that in 3 years we're at Z to hit our 7-year BHAG.
yeah.
Like these things have to happen. Um, Man, that like it's above my desk at all times.
Mm, mm,
Blank to do list. I look up and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I have shit to do. I've got right now. It's the two main BHAGs that we have. Number one is client facing, which is 1,000 first time home buyers or investors. So investor buyer house for the first time by 2032, help 1,000,
mm.
which is a huge number.
What are you at now?
We are sitting at 101.
Mm.
Yeah. So 10% there.
Yeah.
And the 2032 number is to give runway. It was help 10,000 people buy or sell, buy or invest for the first time. Broadly, like just help them.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, how do you track helping somebody? Because somebody could come to our events and use a different agent.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people who have and then buy their first home. Nobody's required to use us, right? But
Yeah.
actually convert and then be our clients, bringing that down to 1,000. The hope is that 10,000 will be affected through that journey.
Got it. 10,000 affected, 1,000.
Closed. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And then you said there was a second BHAG.
Yeah. So I own a franchise GNC, and by 2028, I want to sell or sign up 250 pro members, which like,
What does that mean?
yeah, business development wise, GNC has become one of my, it was my least favorite. And when you don't like something, if you look in the mirror, sometimes you can start to like it.
Mm.
GNC has become my favorite venture. Again, it's been reborn.
Mm.
I just hired a bookkeeper. If you don't have a bookkeeper and you're building a business, just get one from day one. I don't care again what they cost. Like, go pressure wash a house and make some money so you can pay your bookkeeper, because my goodness, she has been a lifesaver.
Mm.
And she's been gone back through everything. And I knew these numbers, like I had them tracked. I just didn't have them in the pretty QuickBooks
Yeah.
PDF. GNC, I've owned it since 2022. It has not turned a profit on any single year thus far. In fact, last year I lost $100,000 owning it. I funded $100,000 to own the store.
Mm.
And like the whole idea of getting into real estate was turn commission checks into investment properties, not fund a GNC store, right? So I sat at the end of last year. I'm like, this won't happen again. I won't take this money away from my family. And just a lot of prayer, like, Lord, what was the store given to me for? How am I supposed to steward this? It's yours. You trusted me. What am I supposed to be doing, and what am I not doing? And I met the new operator there, hired him in right after Thanksgiving, and I met him around the October phase time, and just kept praying, like, is Jason the guy you're putting in my life? Is Jason the guy you're putting in my life? And I can abundantly say, yes, Jason was the guy that the Lord was putting in front of me, and serving him and allowing the Lord to work through me. That he's got such a big heart, and he is so good at sales and so excited to run a supplement store. It fires me up to see his energy that's been transformed. So he starts December 1, and we sat down with a scaling up framework. So I'm like, I've made Roots successful. There's no way this GNC cannot be successful. Like, the only reason it hasn't been, in my opinion, is because I shut the Lord out from it. I never talked about God with any of the employees. I didn't go to church with any of them. I didn't invite any of them in. the like total of 23 that I've had there in the last, since I started when I was 16. I've worked with 23 different people in the stores, and I wrote it all out because I was trying to audit this to be like, have I had any faith conversation with any of these people? And it was stirred up in me that the answer was no, sort of, kind of. We just hired a guy at Roots. We pulled him from GNC, and yes, don't have to count him. And so I wanted to walk into this year with the mission being way bigger than Max, right? And how can we redeem through GNC? And the way that we can actually help people is by getting them in the store. They walk in, doorbell goes off, and asking them what is going on in their life. Why are they at a supplement store?
Yeah.
You don't go to a supplement store just because you want to buy supplement. Like, you go to supplement stores because you have a problem that you need help solving. Unless if you're a recurring customer, then we're not going to badger you.
Yeah.
But like, somebody may be having, chronic problems with sleeping. It's like, well, what's going on in your life that you're having problems sleeping? Like, is it actually neurological? Do you need supplements for it? Or is it just like you're going through a hard time right now? And those conversations that I've heard stirred from there have been so good. And anyways, I wanted to use the same frameworks that I brought into Roots through coaching with Josh. And we sat down, and a BHAG that we created was 250 pro members at GNC. By 2028, pro member is like a club. So for me, it's a conversion of, we turned you from just a casual shopper into a raving fan. Kind of like the first time home buyer. We turned you into a renter that doesn't build equity to actually building wealth. So if I were to think of an equity deposit at GNC, you would be a pro member shopping there. You'd be making equitable contributions to your health.
Yeah. In the supplement business, is that more important to have recurring customers and have a bunch of new customers?
Yeah, absolutely. In the past 2 years, we've served 1,271 customers at the store. And we had signed 33 of them up for loyalty, not even pro, so it's a free version of all of 2025. And 26 thus far, we've had 371 unique customers. We've signed a total of 26 of them up for pro, and over 100 and some I've lost count for loyalty just by implementing systems and having conversations and asking questions, right? And the idea is that 5 times spend if you're a loyalty per year, you'll spend 5 times more than a non-loyalty customer. So you're getting the email drips, the text, the Instagram, all of the stuff, mailers and whatnot. And then 12 times if you're a pro member. So if I was going to turn GNC to be profitable, right, I've got a large gap to come back to from my original investment and my continual investment, my auto draw of $6,000 a month or whatever. Have to build that back up through, okay, who spends most money? Pros? Awesome. We need more pros. So let's get more pros. So every time that a pro member gets signed up in my brain, I go, yep, there's $1,700 in the plus column, like based on the averages. And just getting the team rallied behind like how important it is to have those conversations. Yeah. And it truthfully does actually help people save money and gamify the system. They just coincidentally, because they're doing that, are going to spend more at the store, right? Yeah. But in turn means that they are creating an equity bank for their health. Because I truthfully believe that supplements can make a ginormous difference in your life. Yeah. I think like 10. Yeah. And anybody that goes to like a whole life, like wellness, doctor, holistic is what I'm trying to say. Doctor, knows that supplements can make a big difference.
How does leadership in Roots look different in leadership in GNC?
It doesn't look any different. It's just another business. There may be a deeper relational connection in Roots because at some capacity, Roots will scale past the ability to know all agents and know their hearts truthfully. May know all the names, may know all the people, but actually to know them. So the leadership looks like it's extremely important for me to lead the men and women that will be leading men and women, right? Yeah. Like that's such an honor to even be able to think in that way. Because we're like, the supplement store, I'm not buying anymore. It's just the one. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know about you. When I first started Reborn, it was named Reborn, but I think a lot of it also was performative,
Mm,
where, I started at 19, 20 years old and had 3 grand to my name when I was starting. And it became really an idol,
hmm
and building my self image as like, a successful entrepreneur instead of a child of God.
mm,
How have you in your journey, I guess, is that relevant for you in your journey first?
hmm
That shift from I am da 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 to
Yeah.
I am a child of God first and foremost.
Yeah, it's certainly made a difference. I would say the framework of ambition and power. So I like to think of grace and truth on a two by
Mm,
two. So if you're leading with grace and truth, you're being called into the Lord. That's
mm,
how Jesus walked on earth. It's any interaction he had, he was calling people in. And the earthly way of ambition and power is a way that you can check out. So for me, I don't know if it was as much as idling the title as just having ambition to win. It's like,
mm.
I'm going to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out how to invest. I'm going to figure out how to make commissions, turn these into rental properties. I'm going to figure out, and then it was like, I'm going to figure out how to be the best agent in the brokerage. Like that was all of
Mm,
24 for me, was logging in every day and looking at the leaderboard. Like, how close am I to the top? How close am I? And want to be better, to have that power to be like, I'm number
yeah.
one, that idol. And that's checking out, right? That's,
Mm,
you might be leading with truth in that,
yeah.
because you're doing like, I don't think that you can not be honest and still have ambition and power, right?
Yeah.
But you're definitely not leading with grace as much.
Mm,
You're definitely probably teetering that line of like, am I totally giving people the room here, or am I telling them what to do
mm,
and to go with me? And that like, that is a confession that has been had to be overcome. That like, okay, all ambition to succeed has to come from the Lord.
mm,
So, I have this new profound idea. Okay, awesome. Journal it. Did that come from the Lord? Let it sit. And I have like a 10-day policy for myself, that a new idea that would be a new initiative in the team or in the brokerage must sit for 10 days.
mm.
And if I come back to it, it's always, my team's always like, everything's changing so quick. And I'm like, it's really not, because I'm just like on a 10-day lag.
Yeah.
And especially not for me, because I've already been thinking about this thing for 10 days. And there's millions of ideas that die before they get
Mm,
brought to light. So like the ones that I am bringing to light, you have to take serious and you have to go with me, because we go fast. Like our team builds fast.
yeah.
And it's been fun with employees. Like I have an excellent group of guys around me.
Yeah.
Like I have spent so much money hiring the right people and hiring A players, because I've wasted so much money and time not hiring A players.
Mm.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that,
Yeah.
because that's something that I think from the outside looking in, meeting some of your team members, they're really cool guys and
Yeah.
seem very servant hearted and very good at what they do. How do you find a talent?
Yeah. I asked the same question to one of my friends who was ahead of me in entrepreneurship.
Mm,
And I'm like, how are you? Every time that I talk to somebody on your team, I think that they could be you. Like they could be running the show.
mm,
How in the heck have you done that? And he shared a template with me, which like was not that crazy. All that it was a template of a job description, and within it, it had like some kind of trick questions
mm,
for the job, like actual forms. Like the description had trick questions that were going to be in the application.
mm,
And so when you post it on LinkedIn, Indeed, wherever, Facebook, it's like you put the description out there and you like say like in the description, it says on the application, we're going to ask you what your favorite color is. The correct answer is green in all caps. And so if somebody doesn't answer
mm.
that correctly on the
Yeah.
form, you delete them. You don't interview them. They're just gone. You don't even need to reply. Like, thanks for applying. It doesn't matter, because they're not detail oriented.
Yeah.
And every job, every position, even a sales position, has to be detail oriented.
Mm,
Like if you're looking for an A player, truthfully, Like, what sales guy do you know that is like a top sales dog that does not know his details? He may be overwhelmed and overran and not know his details in the moment.
Yeah.
But when he sits down, he knows how to do the freaking paperwork and he knows what's up. So that's just like a tactful hiring skill set. Now, for identifying a true A player, it is talking them through a like kind of a workshop of like, if given X in a day, how will you prioritize your time? Like, here's 3 tasks. And if the response back is the exact opposite of what you would do, like probably not that great. And then the last piece is, I think great talent attracts great talent. So like Trace on our team, he applied and actually answered one of their questions wrong. He's lucky he got an interview. He got an interview because he kept texting Tyler, like, am I getting an interview?
Yeah.
And Tyler's like, I think you might have answered one of the qualifying questions wrong. So Max is like, hell no. Because he knew Tyler before he knew me. And he found us through a Instagram reel, and he was attracted to us because what we were talking about was exactly what he wanted to be doing. And then he just followed along, saw the job description on LinkedIn. Like, there's a lot of spiritual, godly things that happen to lead us to Trace. And the very, very last piece is just, I literally pray, like, in the evenings after interviewing people. Like, Lord, is this somebody that placing my life? Or if I'm recruiting people, it's like, Lord, show me who's going to be the next person on our team. And thus far, I've coincidentally met great people right after being ready to recruit, and or months later, it's like, gosh, I thought we were going to fill that position. Why is that still a bottleneck for us?
When you don't.
Yeah. And then it's like, it's just God's prophetic timing. You have to wait.
What is your approach to building roots versus I feel like the traditional brokerage is just like get everyone you can in the door so that you can make commission off them.
Yeah, I want to hire from the top down, right? That's how you build a great business. So the way that we're moving with roots, because we've actually gotten a little bit too chunky. We have too many people is where we're at currently. I don't have capacity for an agent that just got licensed, but like we have really, really good agents that just got licensed that will crush, but they need more time in the training grounds, right? And I can't be the one facilitating the training grounds anymore. So what I figured and reflected on is like, there's these little pods that have happened over time that we've always recruited in tandem for new agents. We want somebody to, like, if you're going through it, go through it with a buddy so that you can learn with them, and iron can sharpen iron a little bit. So first it was like Trent and Kyle. They're outstanding agents on our team. If you don't know Trent and Kyle, you should know Trent and Kyle. And I look at the way that they worked. They were working all my overflow. So it's like a buyer that I didn't have capacity for, meet Trent. Buyer didn't have capacity for, meet Kyle, and like just put them in a group chat and facilitate it with them. Yeah. So now we have these pods where like Tyler's got a micro team. Ian on our team has a micro team. Kyle has a micro team. Trent has a micro team. The property management company has a micro team. And it's more of building out the systems within. Yeah. It's like, everybody should scale sustainably for who's here. So when we're recruiting from the bottom up, they're facilitating a position because the top down's already filled in, right? So like Trent overflows his buyer's agent. It needs another one. We're going to recruit another one because Trent is the top. If we're looking for super A talent, we're recruiting them saying, hey, you did 15 million last year, but your wife is like on the verge of leaving you because you've not been home and you're answering the phone at 9 p.m. every night. We have the solution. We will recruit talent underneath you and help you build systems and give you specialization of labor that open up boundaries. Will you cash flow as much? Probably not, but you might have more sex. That's the pitch. I don't know what guy or girl say no to that. That's a player.
You're right. I mean, I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm single, waiting for marriage, but
fair.
Was not expecting that. Do you incentivize financially your mini team leaders, or is it more of just a culture thing?
It's a culture thing. Every single person in our room wants the next to win. And truthfully, it's like, if I can tell when everybody can tell when somebody's overran. They are carrying themselves physically heavier, not smiling as much, not as happy. AJ has watched me walk into this podcast room when I'm overran, and he knows it. He doesn't have to. I don't have to say, AJ, I'm completely cooked right now. There's so much on my calendar. He's like, he won't even mention it because he knows, right? And so with that, it's like, how do we give them a little bit of alleviation? Of course, the spring, the summer, it's real estate. It's going to be busy.
Yeah.
But where can we start to come around them and make things easier? There is a relational equity. There's an emotional margin equation that I use that I think matters more than your balance sheet. So when your emotional margin is at an all-time low, that's when you need more people around you. That's when you need more specialization of labor. Now, does it help to just hire some assistant? No, that's dumb. If you're a high producing agent, don't go hire a transaction coordinator or assistant. They're not going to do it. They're going to cause you more problems. You need to come in and hire from the top down. You need a buyer's agent who is just as talented as you. And of course, this is like, I'm talking with conviction because I've learned it through mistakes, right?
Yeah.
And Tyler is the prototype co-founder of a high producer that like was burnt out. Okay, you're burnt out. What's the problem? Well, I'm trying to do 15 transactions at once and I can't even. Okay, let's get a better TC. And it's like, I'm still burnt out. I'm still tired. And it's like, shit. Okay, that didn't work. What's the next thing? Let's try to get a listing coordinator in here and pick up some of the weight from there. Nope, that still didn't work. It's like the one time that it worked was whenever we went out and we recruited a buyer's agent that like, I'm not even going to call her buyer's agent because that has like a connotation to it. We hired a badass assistant for him that is just this killer real estate agent that could be a 10 million producer if she wanted to be. What she's really good at is the product and the sales. She'll be the first to admit she's not good at the marketing. She does not do the marketing well. And to be a top 1% of eight, like to be the best in the business as a real estate agent, you have to have the marketing, the sales, and the product down. So your marketing, obviously, everybody knows what that is. Your sales is the actual ability to negotiate a contract or a commission, buyer's agent agreement, or purchase price, any of it. And then your product is the delivery of contracts, is the delivery of inspection knowledge. It's the delivery of photos for a listing, right? Listing the actual home. The home is the product. And when you're in service, you're in that product mode. A lot of people can be good at 2 out of 3 of them and stretch to get to 3 and fake it to be a top producer. But there's very, very few who can do all 3. And I have originally, I was like, I'm just going to recruit, I'm going to find people who can do all 3. Dude, people that can do all 3 are just going to start a real estate team.
Yeah.
Right? Because like they know that they're good at all 3, so they can hire out the marketing, they can hire out the sales, the product. You have to be good at it to hire somebody. So I look at people who are really good at 2 of them and find somebody else who's good at the other 2 that maybe they're lacking in the one, and then you complete the pod throughout. It only takes 3 people to find the like top 1% of a microcosm of a larger organization. All A players.
How do you get top producers who could sell $10 million to see that weakness?
Yeah.
If they're not already, and to sell them on joining Roots that has all that kind of built in for them versus just going out and doing their own thing.
Yeah, that is it's not even the challenge because if somebody can't see it, I don't want them. Now, some people are too overran to understand it right now, and they might come back around. But that's where Tyler, the evangelist, can go out and do it, right? He's going to go have that conversation. He's not going to talk about the sales of it and the splits and the monetary provision, but what he'll talk about is his experience firsthand. It's like, yeah, I did 20 million. That was cool. It's like, didn't have much sex. It was a rough year, right? Home life wasn't great. Didn't see my kid much. And then I did 10 and it was the opposite. I didn't have enough money. And then I figured out I could do 20 again and go on trips every other week and be gone and have a team that's supporting me and have marketing that's going out, have handwritten notes that are happening and real estate reviews and all these great things that there's an organization that's around him. Like legitimately 5 people that are helping his business move along, if you wanted to like 5 full-time staff members to run that arm of the business that'll produce close to like 40 million this year. And it frees him up to do what he loves, which is connect.
Yeah.
And that's the end all, right? A high producer, there's something that they just love that's play, not work. And we should be doing our play 80% of the time. Everybody's got to work. Unless you have a golden retirement number that you can live off your distributions and you're just working for fun, you still got to, like somebody, you still have to do the 20% that suck, right?
Yeah.
So that's the story. That's what makes it, it's not easy to attract top talent, but that's how we go about it, is through the model first, and him just sharing his story and testimony of the way the organization has gone. And then we wait for, the big man upstairs to reveal who those people are. Yeah.
What does your relationship look like with Tyler, and how has that changed or grown over time?
Yeah. I love Tyler. We are the opposite of like skill sets. So what I'm really good at, he's not so good at, and what he's really good at, I'm not so good at, which like his business development skills are next to none when he can put attention there and energy there. And for Tyler and I, we have the friction that like our greatest strength is the fact that we cover each other's weaknesses, but that also on its head is the friction. Is like what he's good at is my weakness. So when he wants to run, I'm like, no, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't we? And that'll rub. But we've learned to know each other extremely deeply. Like, and I oftentimes when I have to bring a new idea, a new initiative, I know what the response is going to be before I walk in, which is cool. It's just like, it's a brotherhood that has evolved in the last few years. I talk to him probably as much as I talk to my wife. So we've got a pretty deep bond.
How do you integrate and balance a brotherhood, a friendship, with a business relationship where you still have to be productive?
Right. Yeah, we got into business before we truthfully knew much about each other. So the business came first. The friendship has come after. I don't think that I would go the opposite way. There's not many friends in my life that I'd be like, yeah, let's go to start a business together. I think that maybe is why it worked. I don't know. It wasn't intentional. Just kind of started working together. I guess he took some of a risk by being partners with me. He already had, been successful before I met him in agency, and I was helping him clean up after that success.
Looking at the rest of 2026, quarter one is almost behind us. What are you most excited for?
I'm most excited for July. Our goal is to have 777 Christian men was the original thought, but really just 777 people out into the streets of Indianapolis to clean them up, calling it Indy Street Sweep, a day of caring. So a group that I know you're a part of and I'm a part of, and this is where the men part come of it, Citizen 7. There's going to be a female version of Citizen 7. That's why we've opened the event up. We'd love to have 7,777 people if we can on July 7th. But the idea is like, how can we get different congregations across our city that never get to meet each other, right? Every Sunday we go into our little silo and do the church thing. My silo is ginormous, not little at all. And all get into the streets that we live in and serve them back and pick up trash. And just have this simple effort, right? It's not hard. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. walking with a trash bag, picking up trash is quite easy of an initiative. 777. The more I talk about it, the smaller the number feels. It's going to be a big day.
How has the number 7 spoken to you personally?
It didn't speak to me personally. Ironically, 78 is my favorite number. But that's just because I used to swim and that was my best time, 48.78. So that's where that's where the 78 came from. The number 7 came from Ethan Fernhaber, which I think you said that you have had on the show, and Greg Enos with Citizen 7. Greg originally, obviously, Citizen 7, right? So there's a 7 for him. Greg reached out to Ethan about this idea of a day of caring, 777 Christian men on one day this year, potentially on July 7th, all servicing at some point together,
Yeah.
documented or not. Just there were 777 acts of service in one day. He had this vision and he brought it to Ethan, and Ethan connected us in an email. I posted this on LinkedIn. LinkedIn's my favorite social media. And I just wrote it out, like, got an email that essentially was Ethan saying, Greg, meet Max. Max, Greg has a grand vision for this year. Hope you guys work it out. And then Greg's like, yes, Max, I want to do this. And brought up the 777. And they were like, connected me to Lori with C7. And you got the resources. Go. And a month later, I come back with the idea of Street Sweep. Interesting, the divine effort there. But yeah.
So you were the one that came up with the idea for the street sweep specifically, but the idea for all the men coming together
was from Greg.
Got it.
Shared to Ethan. Ethan connected Greg and I.
What made Ethan think of you for that connection? Do you know?
I don't know. I think the Lord that he did, though. And honestly, I needed something. I was praying for something this year. Like, what is a redemptive servant leadership that I can do outside of the businesses that, like, I kind of in prayer, like, isn't going to affect my daily life in scarcity, right? But also, like, okay, Lord, like, show me where I need to go.
Yeah.
And then, 2 months later, this gets revealed to me. And it was after I went on a silence retreat this year, and that was one of the 3 things that I walked out of that silence retreat with was the heart for some service that has an impact. And it's opened up Street Sweep.
Yeah.
So.
When the Lord revealed that to you, were you excited about it, or were you like, really, we're going to be picking up trash?
Yeah, the Street Sweep, I won't take total credit for. Honestly, none of these ideas are original. It's just I've been the apostle put in place to find where we're going to do these things and how we're going to do them. Ian Dave Felice on my team is the one who, he's always had the idea of Street Sweep. Like, when you go to indiestreetsweep.com, he dreamt up all the branding for it, all the colors for it. Coincidentally, like green and cream, like matching Roots before Roots was Roots. I'm almost sure, I won't say that with total conviction, he maybe changed the colors now that he's an agent with us. But he had this idea years ago and brought it to me early last year and was like, we should do this. I'm like, okay, Ian, we can do this. We'll figure out a time. And we did a couple as a team and with our vendor partners and some of the community that we built last year. And 777, I'm like, what could we all possibly do? And of course we need to document it, document everything. So what can we all do that we can actually document, and how can we make it like a true wave? Not just this, like, a day of caring is and acts of service is so important, but like a true energy shift in the city. What could actually make a cosmic change? And I'm like, we're already doing it, Street Sweep.
Yeah.
So the Lord's amazing in the way that he put people in your life to connect all the dots.
How do you keep a heart posture of generosity with that, with both the act itself and the content behind it? Yeah. Instead of being performative or like, look at me, look at what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, because it's not me, right? I could not possibly bring 777 people together alone. There's no shot that I can. And that community is the service, right? Like, platforming that, and that's the gift that I've been given. It's like, I am a pioneer. I am a apostle. That's like how I've been formed. So my goal in life and like the gift is just to be 7 steps ahead always. So I'm just way further out in the Street Sweep land, and I'll leave it up to the Lord, right? He blessed me to be able to platform it, and he's going to bring somebody else behind me that will connect all the people.
You mentioned this idea came to you during a silent retreat.
Yeah.
What does service? Yeah. What does your time with the Lord look like on a regular basis, and even a silent retreat on a recurring basis?
Yeah. I would say 23, I was like, I said this earlier, it was just like an infantile time for me getting into the industry. I studied Christian ministry in college. I would not say that I habitually was a great Christian through that time. I was just still exploring, still figuring it out. And I've learned it's a true relationship, like with the Lord. And you kind of have to I don't know, how do you have a good relationship? The way that my wife and I have a good relationship is we go out on dates, and when we are on a date, we have a good, a good build. But whenever we go on a weekend trip together and go away, there's like a deep root that gets formed and a strong connection. Or when we go on vacation for like a long time, it's like, oh, we come back and we're in the best place in our marriage possible, right? So you have to date the Lord, and as well as put the daily habits in together, right? It's like if I was a good husband to Sierra, I'm showing up every single day, having thoughtful conversation, not bringing my technology into the home when I get home, and like actually being present, not just talking about our days, but like understanding the emotions that we went through throughout the day and being deeply connected. Well, it's the same thing. Like that's the way that my brain has begun to think about the way that I am with God. Is like I'm in this marriage, and it comes first. It's even greater. It's more important, and I'm spending more time with Him. And something recently, so I was challenged this year to fast. I've never fasted in my life, and I did 21 days in February. I'm going to do 45 throughout this entirety of the year, and I was praying early 25, like, Lord, reveal a spiritual mentor to me. Like, I don't have somebody in the flesh that's like helping. I have a lot of people who are pouring into me, but I don't have somebody who's like directly pouring into this avenue. And I met Ethan, and Ethan has been thus far like such a great spiritual mentor. He's so called into that, just like shepherding. Yeah. Although he would not claim that himself, that's like his thing. It's been great to have him, and I thank God that we met. And through that, you asked about what does the time look like. I'm trying to get to an hour. Every single hour, there's some sort of confession or some sort of prayer. Every single interaction I go into, like taking a moment to just like find my heartbeat again. Yeah. And allow some like quiet time. And then the journal, right, is the other place. Like this journal becomes something that is either a lot of earthly ideas that get left behind, or they are ideas that are from the Lord that are written in here multiple times over and over and over again. Ideas and thoughts and frameworks that have to be called back to. And of course I read scripture and go through but like for me, that's just simply not enough. Like reading scripture in the morning and in the evening is simply not enough.
Do you read or do you study?
Study. Absolutely study. I would fall asleep if I was just reading. Stories aren't like that great. I don't know. Maybe that's a hot take.
You kind of reminded me of when you're talking about marriage and marriage to the Lord. I was just with one of my spiritual mentors yesterday, and he was telling me how he was prompted. He's like, as men, we all want a Proverbs 31 wife. But what if we were the Proverbs 31 wife to the Lord? Yeah. Because that's what we are. He is our bridegroom. So that just reminded me of that.
Yeah, I love that.
I feel like not many of us think about that super often.
Yeah. It's the consistency and the habit, right? It's a choice to me, an earthly choice. You can block him out as much as you want, but like you're going to be filled with the Holy Spirit, right? So nobody is called to be a better Christian than somebody else, but we can all make a choice to deepen our relationship and answer when he calls, or even know how to hear.
I think my only pushback on that, not that you're a better Christian, but like teachers, pastors, or like Paul says, not many of you should be teachers because they're held to a higher standard.
Fair. To me, that would just be like you you go on your own journey, right?
Mm.
And I think that every time that you go through a moment that you can be redeemed through, like you actually go through like a true change, a true shift, and you just get a little bit closer to God and a little bit closer to God each and every time.
Yeah.
You and your own spiritual journey might be deeper. Now, how you're called to serve could look different. And how much you allow the Lord to be in can be different. But I'm not going to compare myself to the guy next to me, I guess is what I'm saying, more so.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
We all look a little different. We all talk a little different.
I think also when you compare yourself to others, it can very easily become performative and
Right.
people pleasing. Like, why don't I be more like that person? No, actually, why don't I just be more like the Lord?
Right. And that's that, like, calling back to, because it's open in front of me, the ambition and power checking out. It's like, no, calling in is like going to the glory and the kingdom, right? Like the ambition can still exist. Just is the ambition something that the Lord is calling you to be ambitious about? Like, is the task, right? So you got to lean in to it.
Yeah. AJ and I were talking before the episode. Excellence comes from the Lord, comes from the Holy Spirit, comes from overflow.
Yeah.
If you're not spending time, I've been excellent in my work, quote unquote, and felt extremely stressed. Yeah. And now I believe I'm excellent in my work, and I really am probably you were talking about emotional margin. I have a lot of emotional margin right now.
Yeah.
Which allows me to show up better with more leadership, better leadership presence, better on the podcast, better in everything that I do. But it's because of that time overflowing, being rooted, being reborn in the secret place, in discipleship, in close friendships, family, and so on. So that's something I'm really leaning into right now, is just overflowing, not how can I get other people to think higher of me, or how can I achieve X, Y, and Z, but how can I run my race that the Lord set ahead of me well.
Yeah, I love that. It's huge. Congrats on that.
Yeah.
The emotional margin is something that's great when you have it.
Yeah.
That's hard when you don't.
Very much so. Yeah. That's where what you are very good at is very helpful, having A players on your team.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I can completely check out for a month if I need to. Go find that emotional margin. Financially, maybe not. Couldn't check out, but like, it's just money, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's a credit score. Who cares?
I'm actually going to take from your guys' book, from Ruth's book, and ask you a couple rapid fire.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
Questions. What is a popular real estate take right now that you think is wrong or incomplete?
Popular real estate take I think is wrong or incomplete. I don't think rates will stay as low as they are. I don't think we corrected enough. And there is not a shiny ball or whatever that's going to come next year. Like, I'm already hearing the mumblings this spring that, no, it'll be better next year. Oh, we went to war, so it's gotten worse, so it's going to be better next year. It's like, it's not going to be better in our market in Indianapolis than it is right now. It won't be cheaper to buy a home next year. And in fact, it will be worse because you're right next to everybody else and they're right in line, because guess what's happening this year? And this is the take that nobody's talking about. 50% of investors are entering back into the marketplace. 70% fled in 2023. So we've been operating on 30% for the last few years. Half of that 70 is coming back this year, which means that when we enter into next year, the other half are going to return along with all the other consumers and just like, regular people that need to move.
Yeah.
Because we've had enough years of like, all right, your 3% rate, dope, doesn't matter anymore. You have enough, like you literally have so much equity that it doesn't matter anymore, which means rates aren't going to come down further because we don't need that overcorrection because equity and appreciation has done its thing. Austin's going to be okay. It's coming back. Tennessee's another one that's been hurting. California is doing just fine. Like everywhere has cracked it.
Mm. Throw this one in there. How do you want fruit to show up in your life in various areas? GNC, roots, your family, friendships.
Yeah. I love the idea of like multiplication. It's this profound thing that you learn in like what, second or third grade? 2 times 2 equals 4, right? It's like, who can I have an impact on this year that then go out and become a branch to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next? Because like if I took 5 guys and every single morning we like got on the phone and prayed with each other, and in their minds, like all it took for me was one person praying. Like this idea of prayer, like one person saying, "Can I pray with you?" to change, like the Lord used that one person to be a moment for me, a huge Kairos moment. So who else can that be affected by? So we pray at our real estate events.
Yeah. Sounds a lot like abiding in the vine.
Yeah.
If you could leave one challenge with the listeners right now, what would it be?
Action solves all your problems. So like whatever you have going on, if you're worried about like what you have going on and that's your action is like more worry, then you're just stacking up more problems for yourself. So like get out of whatever space you're in, walk outside, think about the problem and come back in and do shit and it's going to be okay. It's my challenge.
Cool. Well, this was Max Moore. Max, thank you for coming on. Where can people find you? And I know you mentioned indiestreetsweep.com earlier for the street sweep, July 7th.
Yeah.
What else would you like people to know?
Yeah. Look up rootsrealty.co/events. Come check out one of our events. And it'll be a great way to meet me. I love networking in the flesh. You can go to, search up Roots on any social media platform and you'll arrive at my personal channels. I post on there sometimes. LinkedIn would be a huge one though. Look me up on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. I love writing.
Sweet.
Thanks for having
Thanks
me
for
on,
coming
buddy.
on.
Yeah.